Right now at 6, UWL's former chancellor says a possible miscommunication may have led to his firing. And cities with PFAS-contaminated water may have to wait years for legal restitution.
You're watching WKDT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now at 6.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us for News 8 Now at 6. I'm Ken Kozarowski. We're learning new details about the Universities of Wisconsin firing UW La Crosse Chancellor Joe Gao. Last Wednesday, the UW Board of Regents fired the longtime chancellor for appearing in and producing online pornography with his wife. In exclusive interviews with News 8 Now, Gao says he met with Human Resources the week prior to his termination and was asked about a report that he was engaging in such content. He admitted to making those videos. He says he thinks HR was left with the impression that he was getting paid to do those things, and a chancellor is by rule bound to report any other occupations every year. But Gao says he was not paid. He has paid a studio about $80,000 in the last decade to have the videos made.
The board's basis for termination includes, but is not limited to, your failure to obtain consent before engaging in any other occupation. The chancellor may not engage in any activity that may be adverse to or competitive or inconsistent with the interest of the University of Wisconsin system. The chancellor shall not engage in any other occupation which requires his personal attention without prior consent of the university.
So that's Gao first quoting his termination letter from last week and then his 2006 chancellor contract. Meanwhile, in a statement Friday, UW President Jay Rothman says Gao served at the pleasure of the Board of Regents and was not entitled to any process before termination. Quote, good judgment requires that there are and must be limits on what is said or done by the individuals entrusted to lead our universities. An 11-year-old is home safe and 3 men are in custody after a multi-state kidnapping. On Saturday, the car involved in the abduction was spotted at a gas station in Iowa County, 2 hours southeast of La Crosse. Police eventually pulled over the car and rescued the child. The 3 adults inside the vehicle were all from South Dakota and had warrants for their arrest in Indiana.
Yeah, all day was some more cloudy conditions we had today, but overall, as you see that, let's hold on 1 second. There we go. We're going to skip that right now and get on to something else here. That was showing what your average temperatures should be right now, but we're not there quite yet, but today we did have temperatures pretty close to that. As we look at now, let's look at satellite. Let's pull that up. It'll be coming up here in a second. We did see temperatures in the upper 20s just because of the cloud cover that we had currently going on. Right there's your current conditions. 26 is La Crosse. Overall, high temperatures pretty close to average. If we look at that, that's only about a degree or 2 either way, so all in all, pretty close. And the temperatures have not come down too much with the cloud cover. We are seeing breaks in it, but it's going to take a little bit more time to get there. We do have another system up to the north, well up there, but that's going to play a role in some of the snow that potentially we might see for Wednesday morning, but none of that this evening. We're just going to see cloud cover occasionally break up as we get the south wind picking back up. Overall, 25 degrees. We'll clear a little bit cooler. Probably those breaks will come in a little bit sooner, but all in all, pretty typical temperatures too. Snowfall, we've gained a little, but we didn't get to 5. We might get a little bit more and potentially down the road a lot more. We'll all break that down along with what those temperatures look like, which are colder coming in next week a bit later in the broadcast.
All right, Greg, thanks very much. A Trempealeau County homeowner shot a man who broke into his home. That's according to City of Blair police. Chief Kent Johnson says dispatch got a call around 1 a.m. this morning from a home on Taft Street. The caller said a man had broken into her home. Her husband confronted and shot the suspect, who had kicked in a door. The suspect is now at Gunderson in La Crosse. Police say that same suspect also broke into another home earlier in the night. Blair police say there is no threat to the public. 1 man is dead after a single car crash in Buffalo County. The county sheriff's office says it got a call around 5 this morning of a car rollover on State Highway 25 in the town of Nelson. First responders found a 31-year-old man who had been ejected from his car. He died at the scene. Investigators say his car had crossed the center line, went into the opposite ditch, and hit an embankment. That 31-year-old was the only passenger in that car. A 2-car garage burned down near Galesville on New Year's Eve. According to a release by the Galesville Area Fire Department, they got a call around 4:30 p.m. for a garage on fire. That garage was attached to a house. When crews arrived 10 minutes later, the 2-car garage was fully engulfed in flames and was a total loss. Firefighters were able to stop the fire from spreading to the house. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. A new year does not mean new answers for communities with PFAS-contaminated water. Experts say communities who are pursuing lawsuits against the companies who made these so-called forever chemicals could take years to reach a resolution. However, environmental law experts say anyone filing lawsuits may not need to show that manufacturers like 3M and DuPont knew the risks of the chemicals. Any evidence of company neglect can help, but strict liability is likely enough to have a case. The city of La Crosse is currently involved in a major class action lawsuit against 3M. Late last year, the Common Council opted out of a roughly $10 billion settlement. Wisconsin's Attorney General had called on plaintiffs to reject it because it wouldn't offer enough money to cover costs for all the communities involved in that class action. A reminder for teen Wisconsinites, if you want to get your driver's license, you will need to take a road test. That's because the state DMV's road test waiver program officially comes to an end today. It had allowed kids to get a license without taking an official road test. They had only needed to complete a driver's ed course and some behind-the-wheel training. It had started during the pandemic as a safety precaution. The new year ushered in hundreds of other new laws now in effect around the country. CBS News' Christian Benavides has the breakdown.
New laws in the new year served up pay raises for about 10 million Americans, many working in food services and childcare. 22 states passed laws raising the minimum wage.
That will help me with my son. He's about to graduate from high school. He wants to go to college now.
In California, it's now illegal to carry a gun in most public places, even with a concealed carry permit. It's one of several states with new gun regulations.
Nothing about a red flag law interferes with your right to the Second Amendment.
While Minnesota passed a new red flag law allowing guns to be taken from people deemed an imminent threat, and Illinois banned semi-automatic rifles and high-capacity magazines. Other laws focus on hot-button issues like gender-affirming care.
Children are not mature enough to drive, they're not mature enough to buy alcohol or cigarettes or to get a tattoo. Why in the world would we allow them to remove perfectly healthy reproductive organs?
Idaho, Louisiana, and West Virginia have blocked minors from access to puberty blockers and hormone therapy. Here in Florida, it's already a law for drivers to move over a lane for stopped emergency vehicles. But now the move over law will apply when any vehicle is on the side of the road with its hazards on. And a warning for porch pirates. Anyone caught stealing packages left outside in Pennsylvania could now face felony charges. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
A threat to the U.S. coming 6,000 miles away. North Korea's latest warning and the potential power play it sets up for next fall.
At Doll Auto, we've had customers ask, why are your prices so low? The simple answer is, we price our pre-owned vehicles to sell. When you're shopping around, we want you asking, why are their prices so high? Doll Auto.
Ready? Okay.
The robotic money expert.
Clever. How do I start a savings habit?
Famous cabbage.
Savings habit.
Shaving rabbits.
Tech can make life simpler, but when it comes to savings habits, nothing's as simple as BMO. A BMO savings account helps you build the habit with a cash reward every month you save.
Cash reward? Ingenious.
Sardine fest.
This year's top prize goes to BMO.
I'm just in it for the saving, but it's nice to be recognized.
BMO.
How much time do you spend comparing prices on pre-owned vehicles? At Doll Auto, we're comparing prices every day. all week, all year. Because we want our price to be the best price by far. Dahl Auto.
The leader of North Korea has kicked off 2024 with a dire warning to the United States. And this could be the first of many such news-making headlines coming from the leader as Americans prepare to go to the polls this year to choose a president. Natalie Brand has more details from our nation's capital.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un rang in the new year with a rally, hours after threatening to thoroughly annihilate the U.S. and South Korea if provoked. During a meeting to set state goals for the new year, Kim vowed to launch 3 additional military spy satellites, produce more nuclear material, and introduce attack drones in 2024. North Korea test-fired its most advanced ballistic missile on December 18th that exhibited range to hit anywhere in the U.S., according to Japan and South Korea.
Kim suggested he'll intensify weapons tests ahead of the U.S. presidential election. Experts say it could be an attempt to increase his leverage. Analysts on the region say Kim views the testing as a way to get more concessions from the U.S. if former President Donald Trump is reelected. Kim and Trump met for face-to-face negotiations in 2018 in an attempt to denuclearize the peninsula, but the talks fell apart. Since 2022, North Korea has conducted more than 100 missile tests, prompting the U.S. and South Korea to expand their joint military drills. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
And Kim warned Sunday that war could break out on the Korean peninsula at any time over the U.S. and South Korean military provocations. South Korea's president used his New Year's address to say he will strengthen the military's capabilities to respond to North Korea's nuclear threat. It is a common New Year's resolution, but one that can be hard to follow through on. Some tips if you're kicking off 2024 with dry January.
And as we approach the coldest month of the year, we actually will probably see colder temps here coming up, at least in the second half of the month. I'll break down when to expect it, if we got any snow next week, all that coming up on your First Warn Weather Update after the break.
Save every day with Perks prices at Hy-Vee. Hy-Vee shredded cheese, H Perks price $1.99. Chiquita bananas, H Perks price 39 cents a pound. And Mrs. Grimes beans, H Perks price only 99 cents. Sign up for Hy-Vee Perks today.
Are you ready to get more from your checking account? Ultra's A+ accounts are built with more in mind. More ways to stay connected to your finances with online and mobile banking. More secure ways to pay with contactless debit cards and mobile wallet, so you can make purchases without slowing down. More money in your pocket with better rates, no minimum balance, and no monthly fees.
Psst, this just in. New members opening an A+ account with $250 get an extra $250.
Ultra Federal Credit Union, helping you live your best life.
Are you looking for a high-paying career without any experience? Chart Industries has the opportunity you've been waiting for. Starting wage $30 per hour, highest pay in the area, guaranteed 40 hours, and so much more. If you are making less than $60,000 and want a healthy work-life balance, apply at jobs.chartindustries.com today. That's jobs.chartindustries.com.
Honey, where are the kids?
I put them in the furnace so I could figure out why we don't have any heat.
You did what?
Maybe it's that loose wire.
Maybe it's that plug vent.
Maybe it's the bad igniter.
Maybe it's a dirty flame sensor.
Or maybe...
Why don't we just call G&T Heating and Air Conditioning?
Quality you can count on, experience you can trust.
With over 50 years of combined experience, G&T services residential and commercial customers within 50 miles of West Salem.
To everyone who appreciates a handcrafted meal, are you ready for a taste of Wisconsin?
Butterburger's cooked fresh, just the way you like.
The way you love.
Definitely love.
And our thick and creamy frozen custard,
We make it for you all throughout the day. All day.
All day, every day. Put it in the extra work and not cutting corners. Takes a little longer.
But it's how we've always done it at Culver's. Because making your meal with care shows how much we care.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious. Hy-Vee hot deals are burning hot. Lean Cuisine or Stouffer's entrees, $1.99. A 1-pound pack of Basket and Bushel strawberries, $2.99. And Cottonelle bath tissue or Viva paper towels, $4.99. Only at Hy-Vee.
Many people try to cut back on their alcohol consumption after the holidays, but dry January, as it's known, isn't always easy. Michael George has some tips on how to succeed and improve your health.
New Yorker Jalal Talib gave up alcohol for a month and noticed some big improvements.
Sleep has gotten much deeper and better. I feel stronger physically and mentally.
After the excesses of the holidays, many Americans consider going cold turkey for the entire month of January. But it can be daunting.
I feel like I sleep a lot better when I don't drink, so I'm interested in trying.
Alcohol use and abuse rose sharply during the pandemic. But a survey from the American Psychiatric Association found about 1/3 of Americans say they're drinking less over the last 3 years.
I think one of the biggest benefits of Dry January is it gives all of us a chance to re-examine our relationship with alcohol.
Cutting back can be good for everything from heart health, blood pressure, and liver function to improved sleep, mental clarity, and mood. Dr. Jeremy Kidd says many find it tough to go the whole month without drinking, but there are some things you can do to succeed.
Setting short-term achievable goals, so sometimes taking that week by week rather than in entire months.
He also suggests using the buddy system and talking to a therapist if you need extra support. Talib says after finding he could part with alcohol temporarily, he decided to give it up for good.
Everything is great in moderation, but with alcohol in specific, if you stop it for a little, it'll make a big difference in your life.
A small step that could lead to some big life changes. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
If you want some help cutting back, the website Rethinking Drinking by the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism has some helpful resources. It was a quiet December in terms of snowfall for the Coulee region, but January could be packing some moderate to even severe totals later this month. Let's get the latest from Greg.
Maybe. We have a potential for a one system right now, with the track being that it could be further southeast. But for right now, this is for next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and really the risk for heavier snow still remains to the south. It's slight risk, but this could change. This is the system at your monitor. But if you got to travel anywhere in the plain states to the eastern side of the U.S., kind of keep monitoring the weather, because this is going to impact some place in the U.S. quite a bit with a lot of snow. But overall temperatures for this week, still colder, but still above average, 30s. Average high should be in the mid-upper 20s. One thing that is looking more certain is probably going to be much colder next week. I think we're going to be at least the 20s, maybe colder, maybe sub-zero lows behind this system. We are going to get some of the colder air, especially if we got snowpack that actually exists by then. Overall precipitation, a few showers Wednesday morning with a cold front, maybe a little bit of light snow this weekend, and then all eyes will be on the snow wind potential as we go into Monday, Tuesday. But overall, that's what we're kind of eyeing right now. But for tomorrow, really it's going to be cloud cover. The winds turn around to the west, to the northwest. We have a little bit of a system come through, and then a cold front more Tuesday night and Wednesday. But overall, upper 20s to low 30s with that northwest wind in the afternoon. I don't think we'll see any flakes of snow. That'll probably be pretty for Tuesday night going into Wednesday. Tomorrow evening, still cloud cover with temperatures in the upper 20s to near 30. So all in all, fairly quiet day. Here's a cold front that'll be coming through Tuesday night. It'll drive south with a little bit colder air behind it and a little bit of snow to go with it. Once again, flurries, snow showers, better shot if you go further north. Not expecting any amount of accumulation right now with this. Winds will turn around a little bit stronger towards Wednesday, and as we go into Thursday, should be generally mostly sunny skies, fairly quiet weather going into Friday too, as we look for the next system to come. And that one, once again, bears some watching. It's going to spread some snow over the area. But for right now, it looks Sunday night through Tuesday, potentially Wednesday, as it lifts from the southwest, and goes from the southwest to the northeast, staying southeast of us with the track. But for right now, most likely, it looks like we're going to have maybe a long period of just light snow, more likely some breezy conditions as it lifts to the north. You'll get that north wind, northeast wind coming around it. Possibility, some brief heavy snow. We'll have to see depending on the track. Right now it is further south, so the heavier snow would stay that way. But with this track and the trend, Least likely is we're going to see rain or mix. I think we're definitely going to see some snow. How much, and the wind, how strong, really kind of depends on the track. But for right now, that's kind of what we're looking for, that time frame. So once again, travel plan, something to keep in mind of. The one thing we are certain is the cold temperatures that are going to be coming behind it. But for tomorrow, we're looking at mid-30s generally with cloudy skies, a little bit of sun maybe out there, maybe some mid to upper 30s further south. I don't expect to see any flurry activity as we go further on. And up to the north, we're looking at low to mid-30s generally for most locations, and all the way up to Ladysmith is one area where they might see some few flakes of snow as we go in the afternoon or evening hour. Once again, still fairly average for this time of year, just a little bit above. And then once again, fairly quiet through the rest of the week besides that little snow that we could see early Wednesday. And then this weekend, a little bit of snow, and then attention turns to that Monday, Tuesday system. And right now, like I said, if you got travel plans really anywhere here to the east, keep in mind, keep checking back for Monday and Tuesday.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Greg. Coming up next in sports, the T-Wolves were looking to open up the new year with a win in New York. Plus, Badgers took the field for the final time this season. Wisconsin taking on LSU. Rob's got that next.
The Board Store Home Improvements family wishes you a Happy New Year. Visit soon to plan your 2024 home improvement project. It's never too early to dream.
My doctor says I need an MRI. But where do I go? They're so expensive.
Sensible MRI costs a few hundred, not thousands. You could fill your fridge for a year with what you save. We can get you in the next day. Think of what you could do with the time you'd save. What do you have to lose? At Sensible MRI, you choose the time, you save the money. And you rest easy having your doctor refer you to Sensible MRI.
Garbage day! Here you go.
Russell! I swear I've been seeing you everywhere.
I've been busy.
Hi folks, Harvey Wood of Wood Sales and Service here. American-made Landmaster UTVs are built from the ground up in Columbia City, Indiana. The Landmaster team takes pride in their work from start to finish, starting with raw steel made in the USA. Then they fabricate, bend, weld, powder coat, assemble, and test every UTV. Landmaster provides their customers with the toughest, most versatile UTV made. Check out our large selection of Landmaster UTVs at Wood Sales and Service, Black River Falls. Family owned and operated for 55 years. WoodSalesService.com.
Escape the chaos of everyday life and experience true relaxation and improved health at Revive Wellness Spa. Unlike any spa in the area, Revive Wellness Spa is your first choice for self-care. Our services include red light therapy, meditation pod, an infrared sauna, a float tank, and so much more. Call or book online today and receive up to 60% off your first service. Don't forget to ask about our detox specials.
Covering all of the exciting action from your community, here's News 8 Now's Rob Schiff.
It's been more than 5 weeks since we last saw the Wisconsin football team take the field. Badgers bringing the axe back to Madison after a big win over rival Minnesota. And now more than a month later, Wisconsin wrapping up its football season on New Year's Day. Let's go to Tampa for the ReliaQuest Bowl. Badgers taking on LSU. Wisconsin up for the challenge. Late first quarter, Will Pauling makes the grab. He takes it 53 yards to the house. Just like that, it's 14-0 Badgers, but the Tigers claw right back. Late second quarter, LSU caps off this drive with a 12-yard score from Caleb Jackson. He tumbles into the end zone. Tigers tie the game at 14. Third quarter now, Wisconsin with an answer, and it comes from Jackson Acker, the big man. Takes it 33 yards. Badgers go back up 2 scores. It's 28-14. Now, the Tigers without their Heisman Trophy winning QB, but Garrett Nussmeier not missing a beat. He tosses up a dime to Chris Hilton. Just gets his foot in for the touchdown. Tigers score 14 straight. We're tied again. After a field goal by the Badgers, LSU looking for the lead, and they get it. Nussmeier to Brian Thomas for the 4-yard score. Tigers go up 4. Wisconsin now with one final chance. The Badgers get bombarded. 3 straight sacks for the Tigers, and this one seals it. LSU erases 2 separate 14-point deficits. Badgers looked
decent, but they fall in their final game of the season, 35-31. As for the Packers, Green Bay was in action last night in prime time, taking on the rival Vikings. This one all green and gold. Jordan Love looking better and better each week. A dime off his back foot to Jaden Reed in the first. That put the Pack up 10, and Love was showing off his entire arsenal last night. Somehow gets this one to Bo Melton, makes the grab. Melton was signed by the Packers earlier today. Good for him. He showed out last night, and so did our QB1. Doing a little bit of everything in this one. Packers get the win, 33-10, and now Green Bay controls its own destiny going into the final week of the regular season. If the Pack gets past rival Chicago on Sunday afternoon, Green Bay gets in to the playoffs. Let's go to New York. T-Wolves looking to open up the new year with a win over the Knicks. Minnesota down 8 in the fourth. Check out this sequence. Great save to Karl Anthony Towns. He's going to bury the triple. That cuts it back to just 5. But on the other end, a monster performance from Julius Randle. 39 points, including these two right here. T-Wolves come up short on the road as the Knicks snap Minnesota's 2-game winning streak, 112-106. Let's talk about the Badgers first. Obviously, LSU didn't have their Heisman Trophy winning QB, but I mean, it wasn't a terrible performance. They looked good against a pretty good team, even without their quarterback.
That was pretty encouraging. You know, Wisconsin had a lot of guys who opted out of this bowl game. Of course, Tanner Mordecai came back for one final college game. He looked good. But some of those guys like Acker, I mean, it's essentially an audition for next year because you know Fickell's bringing in a lot of high-prized recruits, so 100%. Kind of fighting for playing time. So that was cool to see.
No Braylon Allen. So, I mean, the Badgers still had their pieces missing too. So
for sure.
Decent performance, good performance to close out the year. I think it's promising going into the next year.
Absolutely. And for the Packers, of course, need a win, but could also use some help for the 49ers to beat the Rams so that the Packers move up into the 6th seed.
Let's go.
Potentially play Detroit for the first round.
Almost like last year, Packers needing a win on their final game of the year. So
a lot of excitement.
See if they can get it.
Big rivalry game, too. Love it. Thank you, Rob. We will be right back after this.
See the stories you missed or watch them again on our YouTube page. Or find us at news8000.com.
When the insurance company sees Bygoff and Rohde on the other side, they know they're in for a fight. It's your life, but it's our fight. And they know that if they're not being fair with us, they will find themselves in court, and that's how Bygoff and Rohde gets results for its clients.
Are record energy costs putting a squeeze on your fixed or limited incomes? With inflation rising at record levels and incomes not keeping pace, you might be one of tens of thousands of Wisconsin residents who are struggling to survive in the blistering heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter. While you haven't asked for it, the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy assistance providers are here to help. No Wisconsin resident should ever have to face the challenge of living without heat or power or face homelessness. For a hand up, apply today and call 1-800-506-5596. That's 800-506-5596. Or visit www.kwwf.org.
If you've been in a serious accident, you need a serious legal team. Bygoff and Rohde is the Western Wisconsin powerhouse. Attorneys who won't settle for less than you deserve. Call Bygoff and Rohde.
All right, fairly quiet week. We might have a little bit of snow maybe come Wednesday morning. Otherwise, we'll kind of keep an eye on more like Sunday night through next Tuesday with the snow potential. Much colder air behind it, so we'll keep an eye on some of that. Something to keep an eye on.
All right. Thanks for joining us tonight at 6. Hope to see you again at 10.